There comes a moment in every life when the world stops pretending to be kind. The air grows heavy, the sky darkens, and the ground you trusted gives way beneath your feet. You don't see it coming. One day, everything is in order, your dreams neatly aligned, your faith unshaken. Then, without warning, the universe pulls the thread, and the fabric of certainty unravels in your hands. Friends turn away. Opportunities fade. The phone stops ringing. You stare at your reflection and realize you no longer recognize the person staring back. That's the fall, not the stumble you laugh off, but the silent collapse no one sees. It happens quietly, like a building giving way from the inside. A crack here, a fracture there, until one day everything caves in. The fall is brutal because it exposes truth. You learn who stands with you when there is nothing left to stand on. You learn which dreams were made of stone, and which were made of smoke. The world breaks you by subtraction. It removes the unnecessary, the comfortable, the easy. It strips you bare until all that remains is essence, the raw metal of who you are. You look at the ruins and ask, "Why me?" But the answer doesn't come. Instead, there's silence, and in that silence you hear your own heartbeat, proof that even now, something inside you refuses to quit. That heartbeat is defiance. It's the whisper of your spirit saying, "Not yet. Not while there's breath. Not while there's purpose." The world thinks it's breaking you, but it's only revealing your foundation. Pressure doesn't invent strength. It reveals it. Fire doesn't create steel. It purifies it. Storms don't design trees. They teach them to root deeper. So when life pushes you to your knees, don't rush to stand. Listen first. The ground you're kneeling on is sacred. It's the birthplace of resilience. Everyone falls, but not everyone learns how to fall with purpose. Most curse the wind, hate the rain, blame the world. But warriors, they study the storm. They learn its rhythm, its voice, its language. You are here because somewhere inside you, there's a part of you the world cannot defeat. That part may be silent, but it's ancient. It remembers every time you rose before. It knows pain as a teacher, not an enemy. It knows that breaking is not the end, it's the invitation. You fall because you must meet the parts of yourself hidden beneath success. The fear you denied, the doubt you buried, the weakness you ignored. The fall drags them all into the light and says, "Deal with them." It's not cruelty, it's curriculum, and the test is endurance. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It listens only to your persistence. When the dust settles, the question will not be did you win? It will be did you endure? Because endurance, that quiet, stubborn breath, is the seed of greatness. In the fall you discover humility. You learn that control was an illusion, that certainty was comfort disguised as truth. You stop pretending you have it all figured out. And that's the beginning of wisdom. Pain, for all its cruelty, teaches reverence. It reminds you that life owes you nothing, that meaning must be made, not found. And so you kneel among the fragments, hands bleeding from what you tried to hold together, and you whisper, if this is the breaking, let it break completely, because you sense it, deep in your bones, that something new is trying to be born. That's the fall, the sacred collapse, the necessary undoing before the rebuilding. Let it happen. Let it hurt. Because this is where strength begins, not in comfort, but in the courage to face the ruin and still believe in tomorrow. After the fall comes silence. Not peace, just absence. The noise of plans, applause, expectation, gone. You wake, and the world feels hollow. Your body moves, but your purpose doesn't. This is the pause between what was and what will be. Most never survive it. They fill the silence with distractions, with noise, with anything that keeps them from hearing themselves. But those who grow, listen. Silence is not empty. It's revealing. It shows you the voice you drowned out when life was loud. It introduces you to the stranger inside, the one who watches, the one who waits, the one who knows. When the world breaks you, silence becomes the mirror. You see the truth of your motives, your fears, your faith. It hurts, because truth always does. But this pain is different. It's clean. It doesn't destroy. It cleanses. Sit with the silence. Don't rush to fill it. Let the stillness stretch until the noise of the world no longer dictates your rhythm. Because here, in this quiet, you will rediscover your own frequency. You will remember that strength was never loud, that the bravest souls fight their battles without witnesses, that resilience grows in hidden places. In the silence, memories return, faces, moments, regrets. They haunt you not to punish you, but to heal you. Pain revisits only to finish what denial interrupted. You learn to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Forgiveness is the softest form of power, silent, invisible, unstoppable. The silence teaches patience. It reminds you that becoming takes time, that even storms rest before they rise again. You start noticing small things, the way sunlight touches broken glass, the way your breath still forms clouds in the morning air. Proof that life continues, indifferent yet beautiful. That's when understanding dawns. The world never truly stops, it just changes tempo. And survival means learning to move with the new rhythm. You realize that isolation is not abandonment, it's incubation. The silence is where identity reforms. Every seed grows in darkness before it breaks the soil. Every mind heals in solitude before it leads again. This is your dark soil. Stay in it. Let patience do what force never could, rebuild you quietly. You start hearing faint sounds again, your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts. Each one becomes a drumbeat of defiance. You whisper, "I'm still here," and the silence answers, "Then rise when it's time." But not yet. Not before the lesson is complete. Because silence has one final gift, clarity. Clarity about what matters, who matters, and what must never own your peace again. When the world breaks you, you don't rebuild immediately. You listen first. Because strength without understanding becomes pride, and pride falls faster than fear. Learn the pattern of your pain. Understand its language. Then you will never be surprised by it again. This is the sacred stillness before the rise, the breath before the shout, the pause before the first step. Don't rush it. Let silence carve wisdom into your bones, because when you finally move again, every motion will carry the weight of everything you learned in stillness. Every storm leaves debris, but beneath it something starts to glow. A spark, small, defiant, stubborn. It's the moment you decide the world may have broken you, but it will not own the pieces. That spark is the beginning of fire, and fire is transformation. The fire doesn't arrive gently. It roars through your doubts, burns away excuses, and consumes everything that cannot survive the truth. You want change? Then step into the heat. Because healing is never comfortable. It's a furnace. The world tested you. Now you test yourself. No more waiting. No more hoping someone will pull you from the ashes. You rise by choice. You rebuild by will. Pain gave you patience. Now fire gives you purpose. You wake before the sun not because you're unafraid, but because fear no longer dictates the schedule. You train, you build, you study, you move. Every action is a promise to your future self. I will not waste what suffering taught me. Fire demands discipline. It feeds only on focus. Lose focus and you extinguish it. Nurture it and you become unstoppable. This is where strength is forged, not in applause, but in repetition, not in passion, but in persistence. You lift when tired. You learn when uninspired. You show up when no one is watching. That's the work that builds legends. Every drop of sweat is a declaration. I will outlast the pain. The fire reminds you that every limit was imagined. It shows you that exhaustion is not the end. It's the invitation to begin again. The weak pray for comfort. The strong pray for endurance. And endurance is learned only through burning. The fire also teaches restraint. It tells you that rage without reason destroys, but rage with direction rebuilds. Control the flame. Don't let it consume you. You breathe slower. You move deliberately. You speak less, act more. The world notices, but you don't do it for the world. You do it because stillness inside motion is power. Fire changes the language of your thoughts. I can't becomes I will. I'm afraid becomes I'm ready. Doubt becomes data. Failure becomes fuel. You stop fearing mistakes because you understand they are sparks, each one lighting the way forward. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress under pressure. Every strike of the hammer hurts, but you stay. Every repetition burns, but you stay. Every setback mocks you, but you stay. Because staying is victory. Because persistence is the purest form of faith. Faith is not believing things will be easy. It's believing you will remain even when they're not. You whisper through clenched teeth, I will not break again. I will burn until I become light. And slowly, the world begins to respond. Not with miracles, but with momentum. Doors crack open. Energy returns. You start seeing signs, tiny, quiet confirmations that the furnace worked. But more important than the signs is the change within. You no longer beg for peace. You build it. You no longer chase motivation. You embody it. You no longer seek validation. You radiate purpose. That's the power of the fire. People ask what drives you. They see the results, never the hours. They see the strength, never the scars. They don't realize that what they call talent is just trauma that refused to die. You learned how to take pain and turn it into precision, how to take fear and turn it into focus, how to take loss and turn it into leadership. Fire made you efficient. Fire made you humble. Fire made you unbreakable. Every ember inside you carries the memory of what you survived. Protect it. Feed it. Because one day another storm will come, and the only thing that will keep you standing is the warmth you built here, in the fire. The fire has done its work. The noise has faded. Ash drifts across the floor, and in the center of it all you stand, alive but changed. You no longer tremble at the memory of breaking. You look down at the cracks in your armor and realize they are not weaknesses, they are entry points for light. Rising is not an explosion. It is a decision repeated quietly every morning. To breathe, to move, to show up, to continue. You rise by small choices, each one a rebellion against everything that tried to end you. The world expected collapse. Instead it witnesses composure. It expected noise. It finds calm. That calm is power. You start walking again, slowly, deliberately. The same roads that once mocked your weakness now echo under stronger footsteps. Each stride says, I have learned. I have endured. I have returned. The air feels different now, because you are different. You don't chase destiny. You carry it. You don't beg for opportunity. You build it. You no longer wait for permission to live. The rise is not arrogance. It's acceptance. Acceptance that you belong here. That survival wasn't luck. It was intention. Every bruise became blueprint. Every failure became foundation. Every doubt became discipline. You have walked through fire and learned the architecture of endurance. Now you build with it. People begin to notice. They ask what changed, but they wouldn't understand. You can't explain transformation to someone who's never burned, so you simply smile and keep moving. They see confidence. You feel clarity. They see success. You feel service. Because the rise isn't about proving them wrong. It's about fulfilling what pain prepared. The rise teaches you humility. You realize the climb was never against others. It was within. You compete only with the voice that once whispered quit. You start helping others carry their load. Because strength without compassion is imbalance. You reach back into the fire you escaped and pull another soul forward. That's how power becomes purpose. In the quiet moments, you thank the storm. You remember how it tore you apart, and you feel gratitude instead of anger. Because without it, you would still believe strength was comfort. Now you know it is consistency. The rise turns bitterness into blessing. The world that once crushed you now becomes your classroom. Rising doesn't mean the storm has ended. It means you've learned how to walk inside it without losing balance. You have become the eye, still, clear, untouchable. When chaos shouts, you whisper back, I've been here before. And the chaos retreats. That's the difference between who fell and who stands now. The old you reacted. The new you responds. You build again. But this time with patience, not panic. You plan, but you leave room for grace. You dream, but your dreams have discipline. The storm tried to destroy you. Instead, it introduced you to yourself. Now every breath carries authority, every word carries weight, every action carries history. You have become what you once needed. Stand tall now, not to appear larger to the world, but to remember that you belong to it. Your shoulders carry proof that pressure can be sacred. Your eyes hold firelight that no rain could drown. Your heart beats with rhythm forged in silence. This is not the same heartbeat that began this journey. It's slower, stronger, certain. You have risen, not perfectly, not painlessly, but completely. The world broke you to teach you balance. The silence rebuilt you in patience. The fire remade you in discipline. Now you stand, not as who you were, but as who you became. There is a stillness that follows victory, not silence, but completion. You no longer search for light. You are light. Every scar glows faintly in the dawn, each one a story etched by survival. The crown you wear cannot be seen. It is made of patience, humility, and endurance. It was not given, it was earned, piece by piece, hour by hour, breath by breath. The world still tests you, but now the tests feel smaller. Storms no longer terrify, they remind. Pain no longer defines, it refines. You begin to realize that greatness was never about climbing above others. It was about lifting within yourself, and then using that strength to lift others. Those who watch you now think you were always strong. They do not see the nights you almost gave up, the tears swallowed so the world would not hear weakness. They see composure, unaware that it was sculpted from chaos. The crown of endurance does not glitter, it glows quietly. It teaches you to move with grace even under weight. It reminds you that leadership is not dominance, it is service. That wisdom is not knowing more, it is needing less. When the world breaks you, the final lesson is empathy. You recognize the same struggle in the eyes of others. You no longer judge their weakness. You recognize your own reflection there. That is the sacred power of the broken made whole. You begin to build not from ambition, but from alignment. Every decision filtered through purpose, every word measured by peace. You no longer rush. You arrive. Legacy is not the monument you leave behind. It is the atmosphere you create while living. Every act of integrity, every moment of kindness, these are bricks of immortality. Stand tall now, not as defiance, but as demonstration. Let others see what endurance looks like when it matures into calm. Let them see that resilience can smile. You are proof that suffering can polish the soul until it mirrors light. You are evidence that the world can break you 1,000 times and still fail to erase your name. Do not hide the journey. Show the cracks. Let them shine. Because someone, somewhere, needs to see that survival is possible. Your courage will become their map. Your fire will become their warmth. This is the purpose of the broken who learn to stand taller, not to boast of strength, but to become a shelter for those still in the storm. You understand now. The world did not break you to punish you. It broke you to prepare you, to trust you with insight, to give you the language of endurance, to teach you that falling and rising are the same motion viewed from different sides. You bow your head once more, not in defeat, but in gratitude, because now you know that power without pain is hollow. When the next storm gathers, you will not flinch. You will simply lift your face to the rain and whisper, "Welcome back, old friend," because you recognize it, the sound, the rhythm, the purpose. It came once to destroy you. Now it comes to remind you who you are. You smile. You stand. You breathe. The world breaks everyone, but the wise rebuild differently. The strong rebuild quietly. The awakened rebuild others. And when they ask you how you survived, you will say, "I stopped fearing the fall. I stopped cursing the fire. I learned to rise through both." Because in the end, the secret is simple. Strength is not found in never breaking. it is found in rising taller every time you do. So when the world breaks you again, and it will, remember what you are made of. Remember what you have survived. And stand taller. Because this crown was forged from storms. And you were born to wear it. For more stories like this, like and subscribe to this channel using the link below.